AI and music. I mean, who hasn't wondered about that? Like, what happens when you mix a symphony orchestra with like an algorithm? Where does the creativity even end and the code begin?
Right.
It's more than just some thought experiment now, though, right? It's like it's making headlines.
Yeah.
We've got these articles, one from CNBC, so that's the business angle,
Yeah.
and then Ultimate Classic Rock, more from the artists themselves. Two sides of the same coin, and we were flipping it today.
Yeah, and these aren't just any artist chiming in. We're talking like, big names.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish, Nicki Minaj, John Bon Jovi. I mean, the list goes on. Over 200 of them actually signed this open letter,
Really?
calling AI's impact on music an assault.
An assault. That's pretty strong language.
It is. Assault on human creativity is what they're
Yeah.
calling it.
Okay, so walk me through this, because I don't think they just threw that word in there lightly. What are they so afraid of? Are robots gonna, replace concert halls with server farms?
Well, the Ultimate Classic Rock article actually quotes the Artist Rights Alliance, and they're not like anti-AI across the board.
Okay.
They see that it has potential, but they're really stressing the importance of responsible use. What they're really afraid of is AI becoming this factory for generic music, just churning out these perfectly catchy tunes, but with no soul behind them.
So less robots taking the stage and more like algorithms just spitting out the same beat, same lyrics on loop, like a musical wasteland.
And that ties into the economic anxiety, too, which the CNBC article really digs into.
Yeah.
Because if you're a new artist trying to make a name for yourself,
Right.
how do you stand out? How do you even build a career when you're up against AI that can just churn out songs 24/7?
It's true. It's
So
true.
there's this real concern about artists, especially emerging ones, just getting lost in the noise.
Yeah. And then there's this other thing that's been bugging me. How are these AI models even learning to make music in the first place? It's like you're teaching a parrot to sing, but instead of feeding it crackers, you're feeding it an entire discography, probably without even asking the artist if it's okay.
Yeah, and that's where the whole copyright issue comes in.
Yeah.
The CNBC article, it points out how companies are using artists' work to train these AI programs without always getting permission.
Oh, wow.
So imagine like an AI spitting out a melody, and it's basically a replica of your favorite song, but it's not your favorite band, it's just an echo.
Yeah.
Is that stealing? Is it inspiration? I don't know, the lines get blurry real fast.
Blurry and potentially really legally messy, but at least there are laws, right? Like copyright and all that to protect artists.
Right, and this is where it gets interesting. So CNBC highlights this fascinating new development. Tennessee, which, they know a thing or two about music,
They do.
they passed what they're calling the ELVI Act that's ensuring likeness, voice, and image security.
Wait, hold on. Elvis, like the king himself. Blue suede shoes, jailhouse rock, Elvis.
The one and only.
Wow.
And the law basically prevents AI from cloning an artist's voice without consent.
Oh, wow.
And get this, Tennessee is the first state to do this.
Bro.
Kind of a big deal.
It's like they wrote that law with Elvis, like literally looking over their shoulders.
Right.
But seriously, what does this tell us? I mean, is this a sign of things to come? Like, are we headed for a legal showdown? AI developers on one side, music industry on the other?
It could be. I mean, I definitely think that lawmakers are waking up to this whole thing. The unique challenges that AI poses to creativity and copyright. I mean, this Elvis Act could be like a real turning point, a model for other states, maybe even federal legislation somewhere down the line. Who knows?
So it's not a complete free-for-all then. But where do we go from here? Is there any way that artists and AI can coexist? Like maybe even collaborate?
Well, funny you should ask that, because the CNBC article actually talks about that.
Like
This
that.
music tech expert, Michael Hupp, he's quoted in there, and he suggests that it's not about like humans versus machines,
Right.
It's more about finding ways to use this technology responsibly. Like, he's talking about a future where AI actually empowers artists.
Okay, I like the sound of that way better.
Right.
But what would that even look like? Like, how do we get to that point?
Well, he lays out 3 key factors.
Okay.
Consent, compensation, and credit.
Mm.
And it basically boils down to artists having a say in how their work is being used to train AI. So that includes their voice, their style.
Right.
Of course, they need to be fairly compensated,
Of course.
but then also properly credited for their contributions.
Makes sense.
No more mystery algorithms, churning out hits in the shadows.
Totally. So it's like if AI is going to be this new instrument on the scene, artists deserve royalties for it.
Exactly.
And maybe even a little input on the songwriting process, too.
Right? Imagine like an AI that could help you arrange harmonies
Oh, wow.
or like suggest melodies based on like lyrical themes that you're working with.
Yeah.
Like that kind of collaborative potential, that's exciting stuff.
It is exciting. So instead of replacing musicians, AI could be like their secret weapon,
Right.
their creative sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at
It
things.
is. And, we can't forget about the listener. Like, how is this all going to impact the way that we discover and experience music?
That's true. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, if AI can generate a song that's basically indistinguishable from like a human-made tune, will people even care who or what created it?
It's true. Like, will we start seeing labels,
Right.
human-made or AI-assisted,
Yeah.
on albums,
Yeah.
streaming services?
Interesting.
Will it even matter to people?
It's true.
Will there be a premium placed on the authenticity of human creativity because of this?
Do you think that this will spark like a whole new appreciation for artists who do it the old-fashioned way?
Possibly.
Like a resurgence of like live unplugged performances? Yeah.
Makes you think about what authenticity even means in the age of AI.
It's like that whole yearning for vinyl in a digital world, Sometimes knowing that something was crafted by human hands with all of its imperfections, it adds a layer of depth and meaning that an algorithm just can't replicate.
It's about the story behind the music,
Yeah.
the human connection. And that makes me wonder, like, can an algorithm even capture raw emotion?
Right.
Like the vulnerability that makes music so powerful in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The heartache of, like, a lost love.
Right.
The joy of a new beginning. The anxieties of a generation.
Right.
Can an algorithm capture that?
It really makes you question like the essence of art itself.
Right.
Because if you strip away the human experience, the lived emotions,
Right.
what are we left with? Is it still art or is it something else entirely?
That's really what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Can an algorithm like really replicate the raw human emotion of music?
Totally. And that's a question that people will probably be debating forever.
But here's something else to think about. What if instead of just listening to AI-generated music, you could actually collaborate with your favorite artist through AI?
Okay.
Like, what if you could feed an AI your own musical ideas
Okay.
and then like work with it to blend those ideas with your favorite artist's style?
Whoa. That's next level. That's like taking fan art to a whole new level. It'd be like having a like personalized jam session with your musical hero.
Right.
But would it feel the same though? Like would some of that magic be lost because there's no direct connection, no spark of inspiration in the moment?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And as AI gets more and more sophisticated, we're going to have to grapple with these questions about authenticity, ownership, what it even means to create. And this is way bigger than just music now.
Wow. Yeah.
We're talking about the future of art itself.
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But going back to the articles, it's interesting how they approach it from those two different angles.
Yeah.
The business side, all about the potential, and the artists, like grappling with what it all means,
Yeah.
really shows how complex it all is.
It's not black and white.
No.
There's no easy answers.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, AI is here to stay.
It is.
And it's already changing how we create and experience music.
It's exciting and a little bit unnerving all at the same time.
Right.
But that's progress, right?
Boy.
Keeps us on our toes.
It does.
Challenges us, makes us think differently.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it. A deep dive into the fascinating, always changing world of AI and music. A huge thank you to you, our listener, for bringing your curiosity and sparking this whole conversation.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep those playlists playing, keep asking those big questions, and most importantly, keep exploring the world with a sense of wonder.